Today we're talking BFGoodrich all-terrain tires, not the Ford Raptor or Ranger Raptor. There's more videos on our channel of that. Today we're diving deep to compare the KO2 to the new highly anticipated KO3 all-terrain. And this is not your typical boring tire review. This is real deal, diving in deep to show you the difference between these two legendary tires. I've told you all so many times, the shoes on your feet and the shoes on your ride make a huge difference, not just in looks, but overall performance. Let's go. We'll start right here on the Ford Raptor with the BFG KO2. This tire is now 9 years old and it's been kind of like that grandpa tire. I called it. My grandpa, my father, and other people across the entire country have trusted in this KO2 all-terrain tire as their go-to truck tire offering. And while it is a great tire, it is 9 years old, and as other tire manufacturers are changing their tire composition and strategy, it was time for BFG to do the same. The KO2 is the strongest all-terrain tire that I have tested and found, and is mostly due to their internal layering system. It's a 3-ply tire with 2 of the plies being steel corded. It is so strong, but oftentimes this tire is mistaken for not being the best because of ride quality. It being a little bit stiffer because of the composition, the feedback it provides to the driver is not the best. A great tire with a semi-aggressive sidewall and pretty compressed and compacted tread design. In 315/70/17 on the Ford Raptor, this is a 35 from the factory, and other makes and manufacturers like Jeep as well have trusted in this tire as their OE tire choice. A Baja champion proven tire and company in BFGoodrich. It is a staple in many automotive segments. Some other gripes about the KO2 is overall wet and snow performance, as well as getting super caked up and hard packed in muddy conditions, which is kind of unfair when this is an all-terrain tire, not a mud terrain. But we'll dive into that later. We'll jump right next door to the new Ranger Raptor, and it is touting the latest and greatest BFGoodrich all-terrain KO3. This tire was supposed to be released in 2023, and I was highly anticipating getting my hands on it and have not been able to until we started getting these Ranger Raptors here at Akins. In 285/70/17, this is a 33-inch tire in comparison to the 35 KO2 on the Raptor. As you can imagine, over 9 years, there are so many new upgrades to this tire, which we're about to dive into. So here we are side by side, the KO3 next to the KO2. In my short time testing the KO3 drives more comfortable. It's not quite as stiff as the KO2, which is partly because of a higher silica content in the KO3, which essentially all tire manufacturers as of late have been introducing silica in their tire compounds. Now, silica helps the tire be more pliable while also lasting longer, because it's tough to balance out. Do you add more content to make the tire last longer or hurt the ride quality? So many tires like Falcon Wild Peak and Toyo AT3 have a very high silica content. With the KO3 now having a higher silica content than the KO2, it naturally has a better rider feedback overall, so it's a more comfortable ride, even though it's still internally very, very strong. I read a research study not too long ago where they compared these two tires in extreme cold temperatures, where they actually froze the tire, and the KO3 was much more pliable than the KO2, which triggered me of the silica content, because you definitely do not want a tire to freeze and get hard, because when you're on ice, it's like glass, and if you got a tire that's frozen up too, it's like glass on glass, y'all. Staying along the lines of the compound changes in the KO3, notice these dots here. I've noticed this specifically on the Toyo tires when they first came out with the AT3, and you come next door here to the KO2, you have more of the nipple effect. That comes down to the mold design of the tire. BFG has gone to a ventless mold style, where these tires, you see the nipples on the top of the tire, that is a vented mold style. The ventless style, which is the latest and greatest, is a much more expensive manufacturing process overall, and essentially ensures the greatest overall consistent production every single tire. Now let's talk tread changes. Look at the center portion of the tire tread on the KO2. It's a compressed, tight-knit feel. It looks like you've got caterpillar shapes here on the center stack. When compared to the KO3, we now have some S-shaped designs, and it's still compressed and tight packed, but even more so than the KO2. What they've noticed throughout the lineup, including the General Grabber ATX, Falcon Wild Peak, and Toyo AT3, is that these S-shaped designs, like now on the KO3, helps bite in every single direction, more so than this caterpillar shaped center portion. Also notice the middle of the KO2 is less voided. You have bigger grips there. When you come to the KO3, you see everything is more tightly knit, which means you have less void on the KO3, which essentially means the KO2 should wear out faster because you have less surface contact in the pavement. So then you may ask, real deal, you got a more compacted, tight knit, more tread surface touching the ground here. This is going to be worse in all conditions. Well, it's actually not, because of the new tread design. See, on the outside, you have alternating shoulder lug on both, but notice more specifically how this shoulder lug is very similar to this one on the KO3, And then this next one is actually longer than this one on the KO2. This one on the KO3 actually rolls into the center of the tire more so, whereas this one stays more on the shoulder. What that's going to do is give you better confident cornering when you're going from the outer lug to the inner lugs. It's going to be for a more confident ride overall. Also on the KO2, this section here was very prone to chipping from rock or just hard off-roading. We noticed that right here where this siping is, this part right here in particular would break off. So on the KO3, they made this particular area wider and more substantial to eliminate and alleviate tire chipping overall. So the old school thought of you have more spacing in between each individual lug means better off-roading is not necessarily the case, as well as performance in rainy conditions. Just notice the KO2 tread is too interlocked and the KO3 tire is less interlocked to clear out mud more, as well as water and mud. Look on the KO3 how the water has a clear path all the way from nearly 2/3 of the tire all the way to the edge, and the KO2 only goes from 1/3 of the way to the edge. So being able to have a more clear and direct and longer path for water and mud to eject makes the KO3 a huge improvement. So look again, from 2/3 of the way across the entire tire, you have a clear water path. KO2 only about a 2/3 path. Side tread being longer on the KO3 helps that transition from the edge of the tire to the center when turning for overall better cornering. And then the siping. Look at all of your siping opportunities on the KO3. The KO2 still did a good job of that. A little history lesson for you. John Sipes was the creator of siping in tire technology, but he was not part of the automotive industry. He was a butcher in a butcher house and was slipping and sliding on the wet concrete, and so he put notches or sipes in the bottom of his shoe tread to help alleviate that, and thus siping on tires was born. The KO3 has 30% more siping than the KO2. Other tires like the Recon Grappler, AT3, and a lot of the Falcon tires do have siping, but many are not full depth siping like on the KO3. Why would you have a tire that doesn't have siping that goes all the way down the tread? That's like when you use half the tire up, your siping is gone, it's time to replace it. Also, there's a thing called 3D siping, which means there's interlocking little bubbles in between. Let's see if I can show it to you. See those little dots and bubbles in between the sipes right there? That is next level technology. So like when you're going over imperfections or rock or off-roading scenarios, when this tire lug compresses, it becomes one big lug instead of 3 separate lugs there due to the interlocking capability of the 3D siping technology. That's next level. And coming back to the KO2, it does have a lot of siping as well, but look here on the edge how it stops, whereas the KO3, it actually rolls all the way across the entire tread, so all that water can eject as much as possible. Inner lugs, you look on this particular portion here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you come next door, you only see 4 on that big lug on the KO2. And of course, you know, water does not compress. So when you've got that big contact path, it means that water has nowhere to go. That's where you hydroplane. The overall water path being increased on the KO3, and also adding more sipes and full depth 3D siping, full tread at that, gives you for a more confident and safe tire. So far, the KO3 is living up to all the hype. I can't wait to see and hear feedback from our great customers on how well it truly performed. A quick comparison, this KO3 in 295 60/20 weighs 66.6 pounds, has a 50,000 mile tread life warranty. The AT3 comes in 6 pounds lighter at 60 pounds and has a 65,000 mile tread life warranty. I love that AT3 also. The Neal Recon Grappler, 60 pounds, 5 ounces, and a 55,000 mile tread life warranty. The KO3, the alternating shoulder lugs just improve overall off-road grip, and the sidewall on the mild to wild scale, more on the mild side, but it does have a nice overall pattern. Jumping next door to the KO2, you can see alternating shoulder lugs as well, and a semi-aggressive sidewall pattern on the mild side also. This video is coming out mid-May 2024, and right now they're showing 15 sizes available on the KO3. They're going to release throughout the entire year a plethora of KO3 sizes. That's the biggest thing I want to see, is just added capacity to give bigger tire sizes. Let's go into 22, let's go to 24, let's give diverse options across the 17 to 20 inch platform as well, of many different load ranges, because that's the biggest thing that limits us, is that certain builds, certain customers want certain load ratings and a particular tire, but it's not available in the right size that we need. So I hope BFG is watching and throws some added sizes and specs that we need on the aftermarket side. And my recommendation is KO2 should be no more. It should be KO3 or bust. In every category, the KO3 has been improved, much like the Neal Terra Grappler G2. That all-terrain tire is almost obsolete now. The Recon Grappler has almost exclusively replaced it, because in every capacity, from safety, handling, and performance and longevity, these new tires, the technology just getting better and better. So BFG KO3 or bust. As the rain comes down, it's time to take this KO3 tire out and put it to the test. That's what it's all about here at Akins and Wild Willies. We deal with this stuff on a daily basis, so we're going to bring you real-time thoughts and reviews, whether it's good or bad. We're going to share our thoughts and insights to help you put the perfect tire on your next truck, hopefully with us right here at Akins and Wild Willies. I'm your boy Real Deal Neal. Thanks for watching. I give the KO3 a big thumbs up and look forward on our next builds coming soon. Nitto and Toyo, Falcon, and Maxxis even. Look for more tire reviews on that. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Peace out.